don't forget this is Lube, and I know it's been a couple days from my last video, but that's only because I was actually fairly busy with my real job and trying to play hard to get with you guys, but I am coming back with the video today, and I'll be discussing the most recent box logo drop, which was last week, and I will go over some of what I would consider, the worst box logos. Is this a box logo? And then I'll just touch on really quickly this week's collab. Since it's not that much of it, I don't think it deserves its own video. So I'm just sort of tie it into the last week's drop, which I was not able to cover since I was actually working. So this is just the web store as it is. So today, actually, there was an Air Force One restock. Wasn't able to get that, obviously. So much for having them available all season, like they said. So last week, I actually went for this first, which profit-wise does seem like the play in hindsight. But I realized I really don't like it that much. I don't know. It just looks like a little too hot topic-y. I like these kind of outerwear pieces, and every denim jacket that I've purchased, I've sold. So trying to find the right one, and something like this is probably not going to be the one. So had I gotten it, I probably would have flipped it regardless. And then there's the box logo, or I don't know. Is it a box logo? So they literally cut out the box logo. I mean, I would call this the box logo. This is what it was supposed to be at the beginning of the season. They didn't plan that COVID box logo, the Murakami box logo, was not a planned release. In every season, there is at least one box logo since the beginning of time, I think. There's the Bethlehem box logo, the Jerusalem box logo store opening. So forever, the Egypt box logo, they've always had a box logo. So with that one being unplanned, that's sort of like the extra one for the relief. And I think in relief years, there is always an extra one. So this was really what they had in mind. And it fell short for a couple of reasons. It's very plain. It does have like a nice detailing, which I would have been okay with. So overall, I mean, you can't say it's objectively bad because it's so simple. It's hard to dislike, but the color palette is just. And then they switched it up from more of like a purple lavendery color to this violet, which is just definitely worse. So really, the only one that I really like is the natural. So it got me thinking, like, is this the worst box logo that has ever released? So I went through the archives, and by that I mean just off of the top of my head and memory, what box logos I consider to be the worst, or some that I know in sort of like the the zeitgeist of streetwear, as the cool kids are saying, that are considered to be more so unpopular. So and again, there's always debate, is it or is it not a box logo? I don't know, it's going to be like that one release a year that is sort of hyped up as the box logo, and more people than not will say it is a box logo. There's always people who are just going to say, oh, it's just the regular shirt with the box logo, but I think I stick by there's always one a year, unless there's also a relief tee. So that's how I see it, and so this, whether you consider it a box logo or not, the Supreme Jean-Paul Gaultier tee. So obviously, now this tee wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't like also called by some a box logo. I feel like I'm like a politician on Fox or CNN right now, like trying to tiptoe around this political correctness. This box logo shirt right here, clearly you can tell by the logo in the shape of a box so obviously completely ridiculous design and not really in the spirit of a box logo, which is more low key with just that little stitched on box. This is obviously entirely screen printed. It also came in black, which is phenomenally worse. At least it sports the classic red box logo and then a design. So if they just kept this, like even the blue lines and then the Gaultier signature, it would have been solid. but I don't know why there's a little, looks like Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy right in the middle. I mean, it doesn't do it for, I don't think, anybody. So definitely down there with some of the worst box logos that they've come up with. And then also there's the Bling Box logo, which is okay. I'm not a huge fan. It does seem a little tacky. It's what I think like high schoolers would come up with if you asked them to draw a box logo. So I mean, a gold bar is a cool concept, but then on the hoodies, they're screen printed on the hoodies, so that quality hit definitely frustrated a lot of people, and I do not like white hoodies. So Bling Box logo, fairly tacky, probably like my like one of my least favorites as well. But the price, so they're semi-affordable still, even though they're pre-StockX era. So I guess that's a good part about it. So if you want like a cheaper box logo, but again, I'm not too much a fan of the flash that adds. It sort of cuts away from the appeal of the box logo, which makes them so versatile. And I'll throw this in, even though I really like all three of these collabs, but I know the one, the Comme des Garçons, with the reverse logo and the polka dots, is considered a classic, but the split and the sort of and the crumpled are like some even hated on as a box logo. I don't even see how you can debate the split. But again, the split is a screen print even on the hoodie, which is a little upsetting, and then it has a weird stitch line down the middle, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And then the crumple, I like that as an original design, and I understand a little bit more why that one would have to be screen printed, but for some reason, if you flip the logo reverse and cover it in Dalmatian spots, then you have a fire hoodie. I mean, this is a great piece. It is my favorite out of the Comme des Garçons collection. A box logo is my favorite. Comme des Garçons is actually the tan sweater from the split drop, the most recent one. And then yeah, I also like the other hoodie, which I'm probably not gonna find down here, but the one with the tartan hood, and then it says Comme des Garçons Supreme in script, not in box logo. I really like that hoodie, which I own, and the box logo as well here. Other uncommon ones, Joe Cool. I believe this is, yeah, right there. It says 2007. So I like this one. Actually, it comes in some cool colors, but the reason why I wouldn't get it is it says there is some sort of animal, maybe a possum, calling you a bitch. So that right there is gonna cut it out for me. But I do like the comic book aesthetic overall. So again, I like this hoodie. I like this box logo. So I wouldn't. But it's still, in comparison, relatively, it's going to be one of the less sought after. Even being from 2007, you can still sort of get them fairly cheaply. Fairly inexpensive? I don't know. And this is the Calls box logo, which, I don't know, some of you guys might not know this exists. I don't know how common it is, really, to know about these. But this came out in T-shirts and hoodies, also screen printed, so that's automatic deduction. Actually, I really like this one. But it's just sort of like drawn, like a sketched box logo. And I think the reason why people don't like this one as much is just because of the potential. So this is 2011. I mean, Calls was very popular still at the time, even back then, before the Jordan 4 and things like that. So I think this one was more so they thought of the potential that the collab could have had. And I think that's really the downfall of a lot of Supreme collabs, is like they get these huge brands, these huge collaborations, and then they come together for something, a little lackluster. So that's why the Calls box logo is not really up there with some of the more popular ones. But overall, I'm calling this a box logo, and I'm saying it is my least favorite to have ever released, followed up, even though it came out a week after my favorite box logo to ever come out, the Murakami